"7:40, you're watching and listening to Breakfast with Stephen and Anne. Good morning.
Good morning. Shall we have a look through today's front pages? We start with the Sunday Times, saying the panicking Tories are planning tough new laws on asylum.
For the Observer, ministers accused of spoiling for a fight with nurses on pay.
And then pharmacies are to be drafted in to break the NHS strike, according to the Telegraph.
Mail on Sunday continues with its serialisation of Matt Hancock's pandemic diaries. It also has an exclusive from a palace insider who says the royals are weary of Harry and Meghan.
The Sunday Express claims William will fight back ahead of his brother's Netflix series.
The Sunday Mirror calls that series utterly explosive, saying it's worse than the royals can imagine.
So should we have a look inside the papers now with broadcaster Claire Muldoon and radio and television legend David Hamilton. Lovely to have you both.
Thank you.
So we're starting, David, with you, aren't we? And when I saw the front page, it said the palace is growing weary. I thought it was weary of Matt Hancock's memoirs. They're weary of Meghan and Harry, but I think a lot of people are a bit weary of them.
They're being serialised in the Daily Mail and the Mail on Sunday. Would you read them?
I tried, but it's just not very interesting.
I mean, he's got to make hay while he can. As he's done I'm a Celebrity, now he's got his memoirs out. I mean, what's he going to do next? I mean, what sort of future does he have?
Maybe he should turn to his day job then as being an MP. Maybe that's what he ought to be doing.
Yeah.
Instead of all this nonsense.
Well, the front page of the Times today, the headline is "Hancock Diaries are an insult." And it says, Matt Hancock's COVID memoirs are an insult to care home residents and staff. Furious owners said last night the former health secretary, whose book Pandemic Diaries is published this week, accused homes of being too slow to grasp the fact that they needed to test and of unscrupulously, that's a good word, isn't it, allowing staff to work with COVID. The main takeaway is that the virus is primarily being brought in by staff and by elderly people who've been discharged from hospital. So, he's getting a lot of stick, isn't he, for that, really?
I wonder if that
not
claim will stand
surprisingly.
up to scrutiny. I wonder if, his version will stand up to scrutiny.
Will it be scrutinised, though, do we think?
Well, during the inquiry, it has to.
Well, but that's the point. So it will be, at some point, scrutinised, and I just hope it is, found that he's talking a load of tosh for that diary entrance, because there's a lot of friends, a lot of family, a lot of people out there who took the brunt and bore the brunt at the initial stages of the COVID outbreak. No one knew what this was that they were dealing with. No one knew really how to deal with it. So everyone was running blind. But to put blame on those carers, on those care staff who were looking after the most vulnerable perhaps in society at that time, I think is ludicrous. And I just wish that someone could actually get a constituent in from his constituency to find out how they're feeling. It's their taxes, they voted him in. What do they think now about this?
Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right.
I doubt it. But even why would he come out in his position and say that? It's incendiary and it's insulting, I think, to the care staff.
We can't just assume that the care staff, like nurses, we put them in a bubble, don't we? Say, well, they never do anything wrong, or they never...
I don't think that's the case. We're not saying that.
We've got to be able to judge it cleanly, haven't we?
Yeah, we do, but that's what the inquiry will show when the COVID inquiry starts to hit. It will put things under the microscope to be held up to be scrutinised, but I don't think it's helpful for him to make these comments in a diary form, as if it's only a footnote in history. It's not.
I'll tell you what's incredible, really, is that you're turning failure into celebrity. Out of failure, you become, quote, a celebrity.
Did he fail, though?
Very undeserved.
Did he fail? I mean, I know he had to go because he got caught snogging his mistress, but I mean...
Exactly, and that's a bit yuck-making, isn't it? When he told his wife...
It doesn't mean he did his job badly, does it? I think that's why it's important that we have this very scrupulous, hopefully, inquiry, because we need to know whether he did his job as well as he could have.
But what's he doing now, then? You know, is he doing his job now? That's the thing.
Well,
he's been away for so long.
But he knows he's getting out of politics, doesn't he? That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his
But his constituents still need an MP.
Well, no, but it's what happens, is it? I mean, they've all been told that, those people who want to leave, step down at the next election, have been told they should be saying it by tomorrow, at which point they'll sign off and check out, won't they?
Maybe he's going to become a sort of, matinee idol or something.
Well, you never will, much like your good self, David. You never know. Claire, in the Scottish Daily Express, your favourite politician.
Yeah, not.
Nicola Sturgeon.
And I just feel that we have to cover this because there is nothing in the English papers here this morning. However, it's been dominating the Scottish press over the past week and indeed Scottish Twitter. What with Ian Blackford now resigning after 5 years of being the chief whip of the SNP party at Westminster, the two ferries that has dodged and besieged the premiership of Nicola Sturgeon over these past few years is not an issue that's going away, regardless of her blustering attempts to refute allegations of mishandling. Now, these two ferries are late. They were due to be finished in 2023/2020. No, they will now be finished in 2023/2024 at a cost of almost 3 times the initial quotation.
Where were they going to operate, or where will they operate?
From Skye and the Highlands and Islands, okay, that's where they are supposed to operate from, and they're being built in the shipyards of Greenock. There's 2 things here. She's been held to account on the ministerial code being broken twice. Once for the introduction of a man called Jim McCall, who held the contract for the ferries, and her interview with him to discuss and establish a way forward or a format for accepting his quotation, his estimate, was supposed to have been documented as it was quite a large contract and public finances to be used. Apparently it's been shown that it wasn't documented properly, and nor did she have anyone from her committee, anyone from her government with her as an aide to articulate and be there for her when she was interviewing it. So that's 2 breaches of ministerial code. Now, sorry.
No, I was going to say, because we're a bit tight.
Well, it's just an ongoing thing, and I just wish that Nicola Sturgeon would have the guts to turn up and either say, look, that's it, I'm going to focus on what we should be focusing on, which is health, which is law and order, and the budget and fiscal policy, instead of pretending everything is going to linchpin on a pretended de facto referendum at the next general election.
Yeah, good luck with that. Let's just briefly, David, in the Mail on Sunday, an exclusive with your wife.
Well, yes, I saw this headline, Life with DJ, I was drunk for 5 years with an old man. And I thought, good heavens, Mrs. H has sold her story to the Mail on Sunday.
So who is it?
But it actually turns out to be Billie Piper and Chris Evans. And she's talking about her time with him. She said, I was a pop star, and then suddenly for 5 years I was just drunk with an old man. She says, looking back, we are still great friends, and I learned a lot from my time with him. Being with someone who'd known fame, I learned a lot. She said, this is what she says about fame. She said, fame is awful, it's gross, it's such an awful thing. Many of my happiest times were pre-fame. So here is obviously somebody that, fame did not sit happily on her shoulders. But if she was drunk for 5 years, I'm surprised she remembers anything of it, actually.
Well, exactly. Well, there you
She was
go.
also very young when she became famous.
She was very young,
yeah.
yeah.
She was, yeah.
She's a great actress, really good actress.
Yes, well, it's how you handle it all, these things. I think she's...
Just beware the older man. This is isn't it?
Yes.
Or old Chris Evans being signed off as an old man.
Yeah, well, at least they're still friends, which is more
Everything is relative.
with her
It is.
second husband. They're not friends, are they? Anymore?
That's why I'm here to make you two look so young.
Well, it
And
works.
we love that.
Works every time. Thank you both. We'll catch up with you a little bit later.